What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. In this video, we are jumping into Punisher issue number 11. We are seeing this limited series finally start to come to its close, with issue number 12 being the final issue. It has all come down to this. Frank Castle, the Punisher. He has become the king of killers. They have made him the ultimate weapon, and his war on the wicked has not gone unnoticed. Captain America, Moon Knight, Doctor Strange, Wolverine, and Black Widow, they have come to confront him. They have come to put a stop to his reign of terror. But confronting the Beast of the Hand is much more than they had anticipated. Will they be enough to take down the monster that the Punisher has become? Make sure you guys have subscribed to the channel, make sure that you like this video, and with that being said, let's dive into this breakdown. Alright gang, so as we dive into this issue, we are taking a quick jump into the past. We have Maria, who is really starting to come to terms with who Frank Castle is. The two of them had started going to the shooting range together, but at some point, Frank had stopped going. He came to the understanding that Maria was using this as an opportunity to get him to talk. She knew anytime that he would have a gun in his hand, he would be more able, more open to discuss what he is feeling and what he is thinking. But what she also didn't realize is how quickly things were changing, how much their lives were changing forever. If only she had known how much this day was going to change everything. That's what picks us up in present day. Our makeshift Avengers team has taken down all the forces that are around Frank Castle. They have bound him in chains, and Doctor Strange is working with all of his power to try and free Frank Castle. But this is a long process. You could consider this part brain surgery, part bomb disposal. If he does this wrong, it could obliterate the soul of Frank Castle, with Captain America reminding everybody that the job is to bring him in. They are not here to kill the Punisher, but Moon Knight would say that he never voted on that. But this is when Doctor Strange begins to lose control. The Punisher fighting the anesthesia spell. We see him begin to break free of his chains. That is when Doctor Strange tells everybody to run. With a huge magical explosion, we see Frank Castle lay one right across the face of Doctor Strange, breaking right through his protective spell. When Wolverine goes in to give him a nice stabbing, Frank Castle catches his hand and he turns it around, jabbing the claws of Wolverine right into Wolverine's face. And then Captain America calls out Captain Castle. He tells the Marine to stand down, that this is an order, that his war has finally come to an end. This puts Frank at pause, but he says, "Yes sir, it finally is." And then he flies off. As we jump back into the past, we see that Maria had hired a private investigator to follow Frank around, telling him all the way to Queens. She wanted to know where he was going and what he was up to. But when this PI thought he had the upper hand, we see Frank Castle come from behind him, put a gun to his head, and told him to tell Maria I was having an affair, and then don't ever follow me again. Reporting back to Maria, she was able to hear the fear that was in the voice of the private investigator. She knew that Frank had got to him, and when he wasn't out and about, he was working on the van, one he had brought home from the junkyard. He would always talk about the family trips that they would take in this, but day after day he would strip down the engine and put it back together. There were nights where she would go outside, sleep in the tent, just hoping that he might come over to her. We are seeing that Maria and Frank, they were truly broken. Frank never found his way home and she never had the love of her life back. Maybe she's coming to the realization that she never had him to begin with. Now, taking us back to present day, Doctor Strange in the air going after the Punisher. He tells Frank that you should have come to me. You should have come to me and I would have told you the price that you have to pay when you mess with this kind of ancient magic. And while Frank doesn't truly understand what he's talking about, all Frank knows is that his family has paid enough. This is where Doctor Strange tries to remind him that your family is dead, or at least they are supposed to be, with Black Widow and Moon Knight going in on him. Once he has been knocked down to the ground, this is still not enough to take him down. We see that he is still as powerful as ever, but he says that his war is finished, that he is done with the Beast, he is done with all of this. As soon as he is done with them, he tells them that they have no clue how much he is restraining himself, how much he is restraining the Beast from tearing them apart. This is where Captain America throws his shield and says, show me what you have become, so what I'm about to do, I will feel much better about. But Frank knows where he belongs. He apologizes to Cap, but says that there is nobody that is going to stop him from going home. He is going home to Maria. His war has come to an end, and not even Captain America can stand in his way. As we get a very quick glimpse into the past, we are seeing that one fateful day, the day in the park. None of them know what is about to happen, but we all fully understand. This is the day that Frank Castle lost his family. As it begins to slowly build the scene, in present day, Maria is learning of everything the Punisher has become. The man that Frank became after his family had died. She is getting the whole story from A to Z about his relentless crusade to take down the mob-related shootouts, to take down anybody who had anything to do with his family. Maria now in tears and screaming, seeing what Frank has done in the name of her, in the name of their children. While she observes this, we see that Frank Castle is still fighting away at the Avengers. And while he's doing a relatively good job of holding these guys off, he is taking one heck of a beating. As he goes and flies off, he tries to make his escape. Going through the forest, the trees begin to grab hold of all the heroes. This is giving Frank the opportunity to make his getaway. He comes through that doorway. He goes searching for Maria, and he lets her know that his work is done, that the war is over, and now he is finally home. And while she tells him that she waited so long for him, the truth is, Frank never came home. This is where she pulls up the pistol and she takes a shot at the Punisher. She puts a bullet right into his chest. You see, she has come to understand that her husband, he died that day in Central Park, along with his family. All he is now is the Punisher. She has seen what he has done in their name and the name of their children. She has seen it all. As she says, all hail the King of Killers. She puts another round into Frank Castle, with our last panel showing the deadly scene, the scene where his family had been murdered. Moments before, Maria was saying that she wanted a divorce, but she never was able to get those words fully out. You see, their relationship had been long broken, long before he became the Punisher, long before she was ever resurrected. This family was already broken. That is because Frank wasn't being the man that he wanted to be. He is a killer. He is the Punisher. The family was nothing more than a front. It was a temporary distraction from everything that he wanted to be. He lived and thrived in the chaos of war, of battle, of combat. And Maria is now seeing that the man she once loved, he is long gone. And so now it is time to put an end to his reign. And that will be the end of this issue. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. I think at this point we can expect that Maria was going to do something of this nature. Now, me personally, I believe that she was going to join forces with him. But the truth is, she just wanted to make Frank happy. Even all the way back then, all those years ago, when she would go to the shooting range, when she would listen to the war stories, when she would begin to understand who her husband was, even herself admitting that this kind of excited her. But now, looking at the man before her today, she sees nothing more than a shell of the man that he once was. Maybe once upon a time, there may have been a small sliver of redemption available to Frank Castle. But when his family died, that's when he truly became what he was meant to be. what he always wanted to be. Now we can assume that these bullets that Frank has taken in, more than likely these aren't putting him down. With the immense amount of power that he has now, the likelihood of this taking him down is very small. But this betrayal, Maria being the one to put the bullets into his chest, maybe this is what finally snaps him out of all of this. That the love of his life has seen the monster he has become, and now she has no other option but to make sure that his reign of terror comes to an end. With only one more issue left, could this be the end of Frank Castle? So let me know your thoughts, let me know your theories. If you would like to get completely caught up on everything going on with the Punisher, be sure to check out the link in my description as well as the top of this video. It will get you completely caught up on everything going on with the Punisher. If you would like to support the channel, you can always do so by joining the channel membership. Much like Patreon, having multiple different tiers, from $1 to $50, from loyalty badges to getting comics every single month. Not only does this help out the channel tremendously, but you are getting tons of perks in the process. If you are unable to do this, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, like this video, hit that notification bell, and with that being said, until the next breakdown.